In the last podcast, the person that I brought with us, who is actually a very good friend of Maria, and obviously by that a good friend of mine, her name was Motmot Arcales, that's at least how we call her. Motmot was a nurse for a year. She studied nursing school in the Philippines for 4 years, and then she became a nurse a bit in public school and a bit in private hospitals. And according to Motmot, after 1 hour and a half that we talked and I tried to get more reasons, even 2 hours, I've tried to get more reasons on why she thinks the healthcare is so bad. Now, of course, the obvious reasons rose. So, it's gotta be corruption. It's gotta be a third world country, lack of resources, right, etc, etc. But those are clear. Those are nothing that I was surprised from. Those are nothing that, and to be honest with you guys, I'm not really familiar with the public health or generally the healthcare in the Philippines, as obviously I didn't, or luckily I didn't really need any healthcare besides a small surgery that I did in my teeth, and that also was in a private hospital with a private doctor, so I didn't really get the experience of public Filipino healthcare. And to be honest, you have to watch the podcast if you're a foreigner, and even if you're a Filipino, I'm sure that you will be horrified from a bunch of the stories that she told and a bunch of the stories that she felt about the Philippines and how does the Philippines healthcare work, whether it's personal by private healthcare and whether it's public healthcare. It's really crazy to think about the healthcare and about the administration that you guys have in the Philippines. I guess this was obvious. I think it's obvious for any person who's been in the Philippines, or for even every person with a little bit of brains in his head. The thing that was surprising for me though, and something that I really found fascinating, and something that I think I can really also apply into my own business, and she said it's the #1 reason, was lack of staff. Now, this concept for me was not only fascinating, it was also something that I think I can really put in my own business. Now, what exactly does she mean by lack of staff? Well, let's say right now you're in a private hospital or in a public hospital, it's even much worse. But let's say you're in a private hospital. She was working in Perpetual, which is a semi-private hospital. It's basically governed by the government with fundings, but it's a private entity of a bunch of nuns that opened the hospital. And when she explained to me exactly how the procedure in the hospital worked, she told that there's like 10 or 12 or 15 or 20 patients, and there's only one nurse that is responsible for all of them. Now, all of those patients need care. They need to be changing their diapers, they need showers, they need to make sure that they're okay, they need to get their meds, they need to get their drops, they need to get emergency, whatever it is. And all of those patients cannot be treated by only one nurse. Now, on top of that, she said that the pay is also shit. And when I mean shit, I mean fucking shit. As in 20K a fucking month. 20K a month, that's $400. That's absolutely nothing, especially for nurses. And she even compared it to BPO workers, which BPO workers are not saving lives, they're just doing customer service for a bunch of spoiled Americans. I'm not disrespecting their jobs, but in the end of the day, their importance and the difficulty of a job is not even close to the one of being a nurse. They're making 40K or 35K or even 30K a month, which is more than a nurse, which for me was fucking insane, right? That's an absolute insanity. Now, she said that the reason that even people are going to be nurses, because I wanted to understand, okay, if that's the case and there is a lack of staff and everybody knows that the conditions are shit and the pay is so shit, then why people do even go and learn nursing school? And she said something that fascinated me. She said that all of her friends, including all of them, the only reason that they went into learning nursing school was in order to get experience for a year, for 2 years, and then apply for a visa and a professional job as nursing, either in the US, Canada, Australia, Ireland, etc. Countries where the pay is between $6,000 to $15,000 a month, which is around 300K to even 750, a million peso in some professions in that field of nursing. So you're probably asking, okay, that's horrendous. That's not something I wanted to hear, not as a foreigner, not as a Filipino, to know about those things. And if you listen to the podcast, you can really hear stories about women that are pregnant that are being treated like garbage, about people that are almost dying and they're not taken care of because they don't have the money to pay for the treatment. Really horrifying stories that me as a person from a Western country, and even a Western country where healthcare is free, I was absolutely horrified. I could not believe it. So how can I use it into my own business, and why do I find this fascinating for my own stuff besides the general idea of finding healthcare in the Philippines interesting? Well, #1 is the reason of staff. In the end of the day, every business, no matter how lean it is, as in how thin it is, how many friction there is with the clients, you will still need staff. You will need people to edit your videos, to edit your audio, to talk to your customers, to do customer service, to make sure that the contracts are aligned, etc, etc. My father, for instance, has a business where he's not taking care of any of those stuff. His business is making around $500,000 a year in revenue, which is around into his own pocket $250,000-$300,000, which makes him that not having all of those staff and all of those people to work with, but of course he still has some sort of staff. But most businesses, especially when they go above $100,000 a month, will have to have some sort of staff. Even him has like 2-3 workers that are working for him. Now, if you try, and a lot of business owners do, and especially business owners that I've met, they try to take one person and take the juice out of him. What does it mean, take the juice out of him? Exactly like the hospitals do. They give 12 patients to one nurse, 12:1 to ratio. Then what happens is that they're hiring one nurse getting paid $20K a month, and let's say all of those 12 people are getting paid $200K to $300K or even more, then basically their ratio is 1 to 10. So they're profiting on every person that is working 10 times more on the clients that are walking in. Amazing. Really good job. What's the issue here? 2 issues. Number 1, this nurse doesn't want to work. Therefore, her customer service, her appliance of providing the services that she was hired for is shit because she doesn't want to work. Number 2, she quits very often, which creates recreational ideas of getting more and more and more nurses who are willing to get paid only $20K. And number 3 is that what happens when the nurse gets paid only $20K, more people don't want to join. Therefore, it's going to be much more difficult to hire more and more people. And in the end of the day, there's probably going to be more and more people that are sick because the population in the Philippines is only rising. Therefore, when there is more population, there is more people that are becoming sick. Makes sense. Now, what does this show into my own business? That teaches me that I cannot take my staff and take the juice out of them. I cannot take one person and try to extract from him like I'm trying to extract from a fruit his juice. Because then what will happen is that the product that he will produce will be like shit. He will not want to work with me. He will feel exhausted all the time, burnt out, and he will not recommend to any of his friends or workers to work out with me, which will be really difficult for me to hire more and more people as my business keeps growing. Exactly as the Philippines population keeps growing, therefore there is a need for more workers. Also my business will keep growing and I will need more people. So what this teaches me, it teaches me that what I need to do is that I need to make sure that each one of my workers are getting paid fully correctly, basically enjoying their pay and enjoying their stay. Their stay doesn't have to be, by the way, only by pay. As Motmot said in the podcast, and you should listen, she said that if the conditions were good, and the doctor's relationship were good, and the facilities that we had, the resources that we had were good, and I was still paid $20K, I would probably stay for another year or even 2, because I really loved my job. But when everything comes into account, and the only thing that I'm doing is getting paid $20K a month and feeling fulfilled because I'm saving people's lives, but it feels like everything is against me, then there is no reason for me to stay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that each one of the people that are coming in having, first of all, the best care, second of all, the best resources in order to make sure that their job is well done. Third of all, I'm going to make sure they're getting steady pay. And fourth of all, I'm going to create an environment where they don't feel they're being extracted, but they feel like they're being creative, which will then allow them to make, first of all, the customer service and the product that they're producing much better. Second of all, they will be staying with me and keep staying with me for a long term, which will prevent the friction of me finding more and more workers. Number 3, they will recommend their friends to come and work with me if they have the right skills, which will prevent me from hiring people or interviewing people or paying for people to find me people to hire. And number 4, by that, of course, my product will be much better. So, to sum this all up, you should see the podcast, of course. It's a fascinating podcast. I really enjoyed hosting Motmot, and I probably will host her again. To sum this up, the thing that I'm learning is this. Number 1, pay well. Number 2, I'm learning that they need the good resources, basically allowing them to make the job that they want. Let's say right now with my video editor, I'm already doing it. I'm giving him ChatGPT, I'm giving him Canva, I'm giving him CapCut Pro, I'm giving everything that he needs in order to make sure that his services and his work is as easy as he possibly can without friction in order for him to allow to work harder and to work better. Of course, I'm a friend of him because he's a really good guy and I'm just enjoying talking with him, but it's also, of course, because I want to create a positive work environment and I want him to recommend to other people to come and work for me when my job is going to be growing and I'm going to make more content. Number 3 is, of course, as I said, to treat your workers like your brothers, to treat your workers like your friend. As you said, a lot of times the reason she wanted to quit is because of bad relationship with the doctors or with the receptors, etc. And number 4 is to make sure that all of those things are aligned together with profitability, which is something that a lot of times entrepreneurs, especially the beginners ones, from what I understood in books, forget. That of course that you want to apply all of those 3 things correctly, but in the end of the day you are still a business and you still need to keep profitable. So the game is not only to do these 3 things perfectly, the game is to also make sure that when you're doing those 3 things perfectly, you are profitable. If If you want to check out the podcast, go check on this side of the video or this side, I'm not too sure. Enjoy this video, it's a great video. I'm really happy that Motmot agreed to host her. It's gonna be on this Friday, so take a look at it and enjoy the podcast. Thank you guys for watching.